Bem-vindos a esta emissão especial. O nosso convidado é o Dalai Lama. O Dalai Lama é o líder espiritual de milhões de pessoas em todo o mundo. É Nobel da Paz e um incansável defensor dos direitos humanos. Há anos que escreve best-sellers que batem recordes em todo o mundo, onde apenas diz que tem uma mensagem simples para divulgar, uma mensagem que ajuda as pessoas a atingirem a felicidade. É sobre essa mensagem e para falar dela que veio uma vez mais a Portugal, e é sobre esse caminho para a felicidade, a mensagem do Dalai Lama, que vamos com ele falar. Dalai Lama, thank you very much for being with us. It's a privilege to have you. You are Dalai Lama, that means master, teacher, with a huge wisdom. What is the source of wisdom? Is it everything that we learn? Time, it comes with time? Or is also a spiritual process? What is wisdom?
The first Dalai Lama, second Dalai Lama, third Dalai Lama, most of these Dalai Lamas are really, I think, possess great wisdom. So you may call ocean of wisdom, okay. But my case, I don't think it's that kind of real wisdom, but little one.
You think you have, that you are not that wise?
I'm still learning.
You are still learning.
So, all these lineage, past lineage of Dalai Lama, as a Buddhist master, so I think wisdom naturally come from Buddha's teaching.
So let's talk about Buddhism. In Buddhism, as far as I know, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the individual is mainly responsible for most of the things that happen during life. We are responsible for our actions and for the result of our actions. So that means that we should be aware of the way that we act daily. How can we make that?
The concept is a law of causality.
Cause and effect.
Cause and effect, like that. So now Buddhism, as you mentioned, one's own, the future sort of experience or events entirely depend its own causes. Action creates pains and pleasure. Now, for example, I take some action which brings more happier, more pleasure experience on other, including sort of animal or insect. That action ultimately bring more positive experience to myself. So therefore, it is, as you mentioned very rightly, the events, they entirely depend one individual's or previous action. That's right.
Like if the universe was a mirror that reflects our actions, right?
There are three kinds of action: verbal action, physical action, mental action. So all these, whether positive or negative, so we cannot, we cannot judge on the action itself, but related with motivation. So these three action, mental, verbal, physical action, out of the compassionate motivation want to do something good for other, out of sense of concern, out of sense of care, then all these actions become positive, because motivation is one to help other. Then other hand, the three action out of anger, hatred, jealousy, then all this action become negative, because motivation is one to harm or cheating. Ultimately, the demarcation, violence and non-violence, is not necessarily depend on the action's appearance, but rather the motivation.
Right.
So now, for example, out of the motivation, want to cheat someone, and then use very nice word and a big smile, and sometimes with gift. Looks non-violent, appears non-violent.
Looks nice.
Very friendly attitude.
Right.
But because of the deep insight,
the motivation is a bad motivation.
Want to cheat. Therefore, these actions are violent action.
So basically, we should avoid a lot of actions, right? Other actions.
What is it?
We should avoid what you call as the three poisons.
Poison, yes.
Okay, talk to me about the three poisons. What effect have those poisons in our life?
Right. Oh, you did good homework. Three poisons. They, what call? Lust. Lust. Or extreme sort of attachment.
Attachment. All right.
Then envy. Or tada. Envy.
Envy, yes.
And also the hatred. These two categories. One emotion which totally sort of was attached. Another totally expel. So these two poisons. One, also the category of too much attachment.
Like passion.
Huh?
Passion.
Passion.
Excessive passion is one of those emotions.
Oh, then yes. Excessive. That's right. Now here, the feeling or attitude of closeness, and also desire. Basically, just neutral. Will not be something negative. Without desire, no motion, no action. There are two sort of mental elements. One, taking, one to take, one, they expel. It's nature.
It is.
Now, you see, when we're facing some danger, you see, there must be certain emotions and certain action to escape. That's very right. So fear or some kind of dislike, that is necessary for our survival.
Right.
Not only physical, but also I think mental happiness or mental sort of satisfaction. For that also, now they get rid of negative things. That desire is perfect. And then something good to acquire, to get, that desire also is good. But now the attachment, extreme attachment, I think generally speaking, I don't know. In meaning, attachment in meaning of this is something grasp, or something take.
And that
close.
Is negative. That is negative.
I think generally that I think okay. That's necessary.
That's okay.
But extreme attachment.
Extreme attachment is negative.
Almost is blinded sort of attachment. Yeah. And also the repulse.
Okay.
Logical, reasonable is good. But
extreme repulse
extreme
is negative.
That is now negative. So now here, the third poison, that's the ignorance.
Right.
Not knowing the actual thing. Now, for example, even if some scientist, they describe or told me, when you develop strong hatred, then the object where you develop hatred, now that object appears 100% negative. So we develop anger, hatred, or dislike, that thing, that kind of thing. So actually, the negativeness, actually 90% negativeness which appear to you, that is mental projection.
All right. Okay. I was the responsible for that.
So now there's ignorance take sort of the very important role, all those negative emotions.
Today, the Occidental societies, they are very attached to material things, right? The desire that you spoke. And is that one of the main reasons why people is looking so much for help? Everybody in the Western societies nowadays is buying books, about how to be happy, how to have a good career, to avoid depression. Depression is one of the main problems in Europe, but also in America, in the Western world. Do you think there is a connection between the way we live and the fact that we are so attached to material things and that depression, that feeling of not being happy at all?
Material development itself is good, necessary. I think the problem is we too much sort of trust or too much sort of hope for material facilities, that we believe, some people believe once you have all the material facilities sort of fulfilled, then all our problem is solved. Essentially, we are seeking answer for our problem from external means. That is a mistake.
The answer is inside.
Yes. The ultimate answer must be
inside ourselves.
within ourselves, our own mental attitude. Now here, I think the fact is, we have experience of pains and pleasure on sensorial level, mainly physical level, then in mental level, there are two. It's very obvious, very clear. So as far as physical level, sensorial level, the material facilities fulfill the sort of on that level, the material facilities reduce your physical difficulties, pains, and you get comfortable. So therefore,
but comfort is not happiness.
Comfort, I think varieties. Now this mental level. Now, obviously, there someone who may be billionaire, all the facilities there, but mentally very unhappy. Right. Too much stress, too much sort of, too much emotions in the mind. So, that person actually very unhappy person. Why? Sensorial level, all the facilities there, but mentally something goes wrong, therefore unhappy person. Now, other hand, someone mentally very happy, very calm, very peaceful, the physical difficulties not that important. So now I think the 18th century, 19th century, 20th century, I think when in the past, people's life difficult, disease, and a lot of sort of poverty like that. So it's all our effort to develop these material facilities with help of science and technology. So I think we put every hope or belief on these external means. Now, we in the West, generally, I think the material facilities, generally speaking, I think high living standard. Now, it's now time is
spiritual.
because of, you see, now you have all the facility, but its own limitation now become clearer and clearer. In the past, or some, you see, the underdeveloped country, there are a lot of physical difficulties. So this moment, the urgency is the physical level sort of comfort. So the other society, now physical level sort of comfort already achieved. Now its own limitation now become clearer and clearer. So people feel something lacking. Mm-hmm. So I think begin to realize, even the medical science, there now the medical scientists now begin to look the emotional world in order to prevent, you see, your disease. And for example, you see, some scientists, you see, telling me the hatred, fear, actually eating our immune system.
Yes.
Compassionate, peaceful mind is strengthening our immune system.
If you are not a pessimist, you can fight better a disease.
That's right. That's right. So emotion is a very, very important part of our life. Mm-hmm. So in order to have happy life, we cannot ignore about our internal world.
Dalai Lama, talk to me about the way we should see our enemies and the way we should react to them. You said that hate is a poison. It's a bad emotion. Everything we give, we get back. So if we dislike or hate somebody, that will come by, right? That will affect us. So when you look at your enemies, how do you see them? Well, good. I can exercise my patience. Is that how you feel? What is the mental process that makes you look at them in a calm way? And now here, I think more sophisticated sort of way to analyze. That is, when we develop a negative attitude towards someone, and similarly, when we develop attachment or closeness feeling, we usually much based on their action rather their being. Now here, it is important to make distinction, the being itself and their action. So our attitude, our positive, negative attitude on the basis of action is very superficial. Action, today, someone acting like enemy, next day may act like your friend. Right.
As a person, as a human being, now we can maintain sense of compassion.
That is the sense that you maintain toward China, for instance?
Oh, yes.
Is that how you think?
Even if those are the Chinese individual who really create a lot of problem, a lot of suffering
Tibet, right.
on Tibetan.
Yes.
Then, of course, they, as a human being, as a Chinese brothers, as Chinese sister, same human brothers, sisters. They also deserve their right, their happiness. So we have to take care about their right. And we must respect. But as far as their action is concerned, we have to oppose.
Dalai Lama,
criticize. So.
Today, how do you see the problem of your nation? You fight for the genuine autonomy.
That's right.
Is it possible to have that with Beijing today?
Oh, very possible.
China changed?
Today I don't know.
Today, in our days, in the next decade, do you believe in that?
Oh, yeah, I believe that. Because, you see, our approach, meaningful autonomy, give to Tibetan, the result, genuine unity between Tibetan and Chinese will develop. Through that way, genuine, or say in the English word is the People's Republic of China, but in Chinese word, you see there something united, something like that is there. Zhonghua Renmin Gonghuo. Gonghuo means something united. So therefore, up to now, in the eyes of some of those Chinese officials, every Tibetan are worthy to suspect. And every Tibetan eye, Chinese are something alien. And a lot of past memory, immense suffering. So now, look, like South Africa, the bishop, under leadership of Bishop Tutu,
right,
the movement of reconciliation. It's really wonderful. It is necessary.
Do you think it's possible?
Yeah,
Do you
possible.
think that is possible?
Of course, possible. So that's my main sort of,
your main goal,
main desire.
Your
yes,
main
desire.
desire, and also your main goal.
Now this gap remains.
But Dalai Lama,
Chinese on.
Today, we listen to the world defending the independence of Palestine. Everybody defends that.
Yes.
A lot of people also defend the independence of Kosovo. Russia, no, but a lot of people defend that. Today, in the international system, who is helping you? Who is defending the genuine autonomy of Tibet? Are you alone, more lonely than you were 20 years ago?
No.
30 years ago? No?
Much more support.
By whom?
In public level and medias, and also, I think, almost Western or the European Parliament.
The European Parliament?
No. I think every parliament of individual countries, member states of
each
European
nation.
Union.
Right.
Oh, there are. You see, there's support groups, and European Parliament very, very supportive. And then the United States and Canada, the public support very strong.
Yes.
And then the both houses of the United States and also Canada, very, very supportive. And number of resolutions also passed. And American, both houses, and also European Parliament, you see, described Tibet as an occupied land.
So, sir, when you came here to Portugal, you don't feel sad because there is nobody from the Portuguese government or even the president to officially receive you. Is that important for you or irrelevant?
Oh, irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
My main purpose, visit different countries, including now this visit, is non-political. And my main effort, my main interest is promotion of human value. The
human rights, but you are the spiritual leader of Tibet.
And you see, the promotion of religious harmony. These two things are my top priority. And also, I usually describe, you see, these two commitments is volunteer basis. About Tibet, not necessarily volunteer. So there is a limitation. I already, since 6 years, now we already have elected political leadership. So my position is something like a semi-retired position. So when I visit different countries, no political agenda. If I have some political agenda, something you see, to discuss with the concerned countries' leaders, then if I miss the meeting with them, then I feel sad, certainly. But since I have no particular sort of point to discuss with them, then no problem.
What will be the last message that you would like to give to the main politicians?
main politician.
Not the Portuguese. The men that rule the international order today. The men that are on the Security Council of the United Nations. What would be the message that you would like to give to the world leaders? Do you have one?
I don't know. I think politicians usually, I also usually say that I firmly believe and feel the politicians are also human beings.
They are.
So deep down, they also need affection.
Affection.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you think you don't have that?
And they also, you see, in order to get more affection from other, they themselves should show more affection to other. That's logical.
Dalai Lama, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For being with us. It was a privilege for RTP to have you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Foi a edição especial com o Dalai Lama, o líder espiritual do Tibete, o Buda reencarnado. Assim é tido. O Dalai Lama é Nobel da Paz e diz que professa uma religião muito simples, que se baseia na tolerância, no amor e na compaixão e, acima de tudo, no princípio de que nunca devemos sentir que somos superiores aos outros. Foi a emissão especial. Obrigada pela sua atenção.